Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Aren't you excited it's Friday? I am so freaking excited that this is a day we can be grateful for. Man, I've had a really weird Thanksgiving. This is the first Thanksgiving that it was just me and Marcus. But honestly, I have so much to be grateful for, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you. I see a couple people chiming in. Um, 3 people online so far. So, first things first, I wanted to read you guys a quote that struck me this week, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you concentrate on finding whatever is good in every situation, you will discover that your life will suddenly be filled with gratitude, a feeling that nurtures the soul. That's a quote by Rabbi Harold Kushner. I tell you, when I go through a gratefulness practice, and that's what I think we want to circle around today. Thankfulness doesn't just happen during Thanksgiving time or the holidays. It should really be a practice because it does so much for us. So I'm really excited to actually talk with a couple of guests about concentrating on the good, finding what is good in situations, and elevating what we should be grateful for. We got 9 people here. So, uh, those of you who are online and watching, I'd love for you to go ahead and type in the chat, what are you grateful for? And while you're getting your thoughts together and thinking about what to type, I will share with you what I'm grateful for today. Today, um, I write this down every single day. I write down first thing when I wake up in the morning, 3 things that I'm grateful for. And today, I wrote that I am grateful for all the live platforms so that I can see all of you, talk with all of you, and really just connect with people on a on a basis that typically doesn't take place in the society that we live in. We get to connect a bit more. So I'm grateful for live so I can speak to all of you. Number 2 is I am grateful for gratefulness as a practice. And then the last thing is time with family. So please put in the chat, yeah, hey Aaron, I see you. Thank you. I appreciate your comment on the quote there. Um yeah, so put in the chat what you're grateful for. And with that, I'm going to actually introduce our first guest. He is Henry Nett, the pre-construction executive at Southland Industries. He serves as the pre-construction executive after serving as the sheet metal general superintendent for 13 years and 32 years as a union sheet metal worker with Local 105. He's been very instrumental with building partnerships with organizations that have pre-apprenticeship programs in the Bay Area, like City Build in San Francisco and Rising Sun Center for Opportunity in Oakland, along with several others. Henry is a strong advocate of mentoring and giving everyone a fair shot at success, regardless of their background. He is the 2020 chair for AGC's National Diversity and Inclusion Steering Committee. Henry's approach to the complexity of the current climate is one of calm, courage, and commitment. He is a consistent voice of reason, even in the worst of times, and is not afraid to have uncomfortable conversations that have the potential to bring positive change. As the former sheet metal general superintendent, Henry was responsible for over 200 sheet metal workers during his tenure and led lean implementations on projects throughout Northern California on Southland projects. Henry's strategy of field support included a mixture of boots on the ground type of approach combined with an informal relationship building. This has always been key to his success. So, with that, we're going to bring Henry on. Hey, welcome, Henry.
Good morning. How are you, Brittany?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, it's good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in it's gotta be like 2 years now.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Pretty close. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Besides seeing on each other on the on the platform as you mentioned.
exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for at least seeing us, back and forth talking about what's important to us, interesting things that we find.
yeah,
But I'm super happy to just kind of talk with you today and reconnect,
yeah,
talk about
definitely,
something that's important to both of us.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, um, I gave a little bit of history on your background through your bio. Um, is there anything else that you want to quickly share about like how you've been doing, like just through the holidays here? Just what's up? How have you been doing?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. First, I would have mentioned because I'll get somebody from my union to hit me. I It should be local 104 versus 105 because there is a local 105 in Southern California, and I'm at a local 104, so I better correct that. Make sure I don't get taken out later.
Okay,
um,
that's cool.
yeah, but yeah, it's been life has been pretty crazy. There's obviously so many things happening in everyone's life that have impacted us in ways where no one can hide from this. With COVID, as well as just this racial uproar going around the country, families being separated, unfortunately, so many people dying. It seems very dark, right? I mean, it's tough. I don't think any of us have not been impacted some way, somehow, by other things going on, whether very intensely or maybe from afar. But either way, it has changed our lives forever, and it's something that we've had to learn to adapt with. So coming to work every day, and whether it's you're going in virtually or physically present, it's just different, and it's something that you've had to really just kind of wrap your mind around and say this is the way it is right now, and will be for a long time. And like I said, it probably will never be the same in many ways, which isn't all bad, but it just won't be the same. And so having to adapt our lives, and we know how change creates stress, and it's one of those things where we like things just to be the way they are, and this has been an uproar. This has been a bulldozer
Yes.
coming in and turning our lives upside down. So many people are affected in so many different ways.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to your point, there's so much to process this year. And it's difficult to decide. It's difficult to decide how to respond, or even take the time to think about how am I responding and what am I going to do about it, and make specific choices about how to interact with people while we're trying to process.
Right.
It's a whole thing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to go through.
Yeah.
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 And one thing that I've been, struggling with, and which is why I wanted to have this conversation, is how to keep positivity and things that are good and things that are great, things that we're grateful for top of mind.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking for some more ways that I have a gratefulness practice. Like I mentioned earlier, I do try to every single day jot down 3 things. It could be very simple, very simple. It could be just like the sunshine outside. It's just something to be grateful for every morning. So my question to you, which is basically the theme for today, is how do you encourage gratefulness outwardly, or to start with, we can talk about how you encourage others to pay attention to what's good and
Yeah.
what they should be grateful for, and then we can go ahead and tap into the inward. How do you do it for yourself a little bit later? So how do you encourage gratefulness in this distant society?
Well, first I have to say, to start with, that is really how it's defined for me. And this allows me to show up in a certain way. And that is one of the powers for me of gratefulness, it gives you the ability to see. And I think that that's so important to recognize. It's kind of like being able to smell the flowers and see the sunshine or see the light in the cloudy day. It's how you choose to show up. But in order to be able to show up in a certain ways, you have to be able to see, you have to be able to recognize what's around you. And I believe gratefulness allows us to see. If we have, spiritual eyes, and it's not just physically seeing, but it's being able to recognize there's something better, that there's more to what is in front of your face. And it may be disparity, and it may be poverty, it may be violence, it may be lack of finances, but gratefulness allows you to see something better. And so I think that's the most important part, is how I start when I show up at work, and I try to help others. It's always about bringing empathy, and understanding in others, their dynamics, what they're facing in their lives, and trying to come to a place of seeing through their own perspective. So it's not just a moment of persecution or accusation, or just one that's lacking empathy, whatever someone's facing. And so showing up in that way allows me to help others to kind of see the light, and to turn whatever they may be facing with a positive attribute, and not to be dismissive and uncaring, but to really show up with empathy, to understand, why it is they are where they are, whether it's perspective, outlook, or physically just somewhere. It's how do we come out of that? So it's really coming to the place of saying there's always something better. It could always be worse, but not very flippant with that, really in a meaningful way, to really help others to see that your lives are better than what you think they are. In the situation that we're facing, although it's dire, it could be worse. And let's look at that, and let's figure out how do we help you see that, so you can keep moving in life and not get stuck where you're at. And that's really important, especially in work, because we have to show up and we have to do a job. And in spite of what we're facing, I always tell my former boss used to say to us, you have people that work for you and are struggling, and sometimes you just don't want to show up to work physically. Well, it's things that you go through in life, they're hard, but it's a lot harder when you don't have a paycheck. So let's figure out how do we get you there safely, execute your work, and get you back home, so that you can continue to provide, so you don't make a bad situation worse. And so sometimes it's just as practical as that, is I understand what you're facing, but your family needs you to show up and do your job. And how can we help you to do that? So it's just really meeting people where they live, and having that empathy that you take with you wherever you go, so that you can identify with people and not be flippant and uncaring. It's really important that people know that you care.
Yeah, that's so real. It's it's so simple to take a couple moments and figure out how someone is doing, where what they're experiencing, what their world looks like from their perspective, just for a moment, so that you can kind of come together and say, okay, yep, we have a job to do, but there's always something, there's always something better. There's always a little bit of a silver lining amongst the things that are taking place. Of course, the things that are top of mind for people are things that are on the edges, right? The things that are polarized, the things that are either really bad or the things that are really good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of coming to the point of getting people to focus a little bit on, okay, where are you now? How do we focus on the up and up, right? The positive thing, and then how do we get to work? That's what I heard from what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's so, our industry is so dangerous. Unfortunately, we still have people that are injured. Every we have, and when someone's they're not seeing, they're not recognizing, and if they're not present themselves in their team,
No, Henry. I feel like you're cutting out here. All right. Henry's cutting out for a little bit, and if he's coming back on in a second, we'll pull him back in. All right, I think Henry's tied up. So in the meantime, while he's getting reconnected, we'll go ahead and highlight some of the comments here, what people have responded with on what they're grateful for. Vicky says she's grateful for collaboration between colleagues outside of the industry to keep her abreast of the organizational strategies overall, as opposed to just within her industry. That's really cool. Brian, he says he's grateful for his family, his dogs, his family's health, and the health of him getting to help people and have a different relationship with their work. That's really cool. Helping people to have a different relationship with their work. So, unfortunately, it looks like Henry lost connection. So I'm really grateful that he was able to be on and he was able to share a little bit about his truth and how he has been able to encourage individuals that he works with to be more grateful. So with that, we do have our next guest here, and I'm going to. Oh, here, Henry's back. Let's go ahead and wrap up with Henry before we jump into a conversation with our next guest. So
I'm sorry.
we are thankful you are back.
Thank you. Technology, I tell you.
All right. So I'm going to ask you our last question. What are you grateful for today, Henry?
Um, I am grateful for, first and foremost, always my family. That is the dearest, obviously, to me. Having a 2-year-old now, she'll be 23 in a month or two, just graduated from college, and a son that is 20, just turned 20 last month, and trying to be an aspiring soccer player, and then a 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old who's getting ready to start driving. Uh, so they're the center and joy of my life, and helps to keep me in perspective. And when you come home from work on a long commute, when you do drive in and come back and have these young people helping you laugh and see what really matters, that's I'm grateful for them for sure. My extended family as well, and the people that I work with, and it's that's really cool to be able to say that and mean it. Is I really enjoy the people that I work with, and I'm grateful for the relationships that I've established over with Southland for the last 14 years almost, and some of my best relationships exist there. Some of my best friends created have come through work, and just being able to meet folks like you and people around this industry that care and have so you can connect with people in different ways and learn from one another. I'm grateful for those experiences, and they've all helped shape different parts of my life and give me perspective to keep pressing, to keep going, and to keep sharing, and knowing that this kind of thing, it matters in addition to the actual work we do, that it all ties together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Next time I see you, I'm going to ask you again as to when your book is going to be released. But I know it's too soon to ask you that now. But for those of you who are interested, please hit up Henry. He's on LinkedIn. He's a good guy. He has so much to give. Thank you again, Henry. It's a pleasure to have had you on this show.
Thank you for having me, Brittany. You take care, and good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Bye
Bye.
now.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much for those who are dropping comments in the chat. Ashley says she is grateful for the health of her family and the ability to stay socially distant and still focus on positive mental health mindsets. That is cool. Cool. Yes. Thank you for the comment, Ashley. So we are going to open up for our next guest. Priya Shah is on the line. She is the founder and executive director at The Simple Good. She's known for triggering social consciousness to challenge barriers and empower communities from the inside out. As a Chicago creative and entrepreneur, she has built a network of artists and collaborators dedicated to igniting social awareness and change through art and imagination. Shah began volunteering in developing countries at a young age, which inspired her to fill the gap between business and the social sector. Shah's passion for art and travel has fueled her purpose to help better communities in Chicago and around the world. Through her experience, Shah has developed a unique perspective on humanity and believes that it is her responsibility to engage communities in need. Her purpose took shape when she founded The Simple Good, a nonprofit with the mission to connect the meaning of good from around the world, empowering youth to become positive activists through art and discussion. By uniting communities under a universal truth, Shah hopes to bridge understanding across all walks of life in order to bring down obstacles separating us and working towards improving the lives of our children and in turn our future. Shah was nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30 and is also a speaker with the Peace is Loud Bureau, who promotes female changemakers promoting peace around the world. So, with that, welcome, Priya.
Hi, Brittany. How's it going?
So good. It's so good to see you. I think this is the first time we're meeting in person,
Yeah, yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Oh, man, how are you?
Good, good. Yeah, just kind of, we have a big fundraiser that we're getting ready after the holiday weekend. So it's been nice to gather and still be working towards a really big, cool celebration that we'll be doing next week. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, please share a little bit, like, where can people find out more about the fundraiser? We definitely want to put a plug in here for you since we're
Thank
live.
you. Yeah, so we're having our first virtual fundraiser called City of Big Dreams, where we're going to celebrate the simple good of Chicago by uniting the artist community from all around the world. So it takes off, it's a fundraising festival this year. So it launches on Monday, November 30th, and it goes through the 3rd. And it closes with the finale of where we're going to do a virtual screening of our documentary for the first time. And so it'll be a private preview of a film that's coming out about us called Project Building Hope. So you guys can see a little bit more about the story of our work and things that we've been able to do both locally and internationally, and how we continue to try to push hope through our work. So yeah, I would love for all of you guys to attend. We have a huge silent auction, which is incredible. Like, I want to bid on all this stuff. And it's going to launch on Monday. So I'm trying to hold back, but yeah, you guys get first dibs for sure. But it's all at cobd2020.eventbrite.com. And you can RSVP and get all the info there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. That's exciting. Well, you do so much work with students, and you basically share the phenomena that focusing on things that are good. What I mean, it could be super simple, and creating artwork out of that is a way to really do a number of things. It helps people focus on good, and it promotes positivity as an environment. But it also, and having watched a few of your videos in the past and having talked with you, it seems like a little while ago now, it helps behavior as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it also builds community. So just to kind of give people a little recap, that that's a little bit of what Priya does. She encourages that. So that being said, you encourage the focus on good. How do you encourage good and gratefulness, especially now in this distant society?
I mean, I think it's even more critical more than ever right now, right? We're forced to slow down, and it actually makes it easier to see what we do have if we choose to see it. And that's really what we're teaching right now, is that, yes, there are a lot of reminders of negativity, but the good that's always existed around us continues to exist within us and around us. And it's our duty to acknowledge that and see how we can amplify that to not only better our own environments, but also our community and our larger world, and impact how we decide to, really make an impact on our community. And the importance of really finding, the simple good in our lives and being grateful for these assets that are always present around us, is that it also helps shape our identity, right? We are all born with assets that are true to us, that help make us better people, and also help us make a better world for ourselves and the people around us that we love. And it's our duty to be able to, flourish that into the world, especially right now when there are so many reminders of negativity and loss of hope. And so, it is something that we're really teaching our kids about, the importance of finding good so we can promote hope. And by promoting hope, we promote possibility in order for us to get out of this time in a better place.
Yeah. How are you doing that now? I mean, in a practical sense, are you all hopping on a Zoom call? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we do social emotional learning and mindfulness-based arts residency programs with different schools and nonprofits across Chicago, and pre-COVID internationally too. And now what that looks like is that we are going virtual. So we are hopping on a virtual classroom every week, or a Zoom call every week with our students, and still carrying out the program, but just kind of behind a computer. And what we found is actually it's even more powerful right now, because kids are looking for coping skills. We all are looking for coping skills, right? We're all looking for ways to process this time and moment, and how we can be a part of it in a better way. And so the engagement and the intention has been so beautiful and refreshing that, there is a huge issue with e-learning right now, but to see, despite that, our kids are logging on, like looking to speak about hope and looking to create it during this time has been so powerful, and a testament to our work. I think that, this is something that is needed not only all the time, but especially at a time when, there's so much uncertainty, and youth are so ready to dive in and make a change, and dive in and see what their place is. And so to give them the opportunity to do that is so critical right now, right? Because they are the ones that are going to start leading us in a few years. So equipping them with the tools that they need to do that, so that we're all in a better place, is just so important. So it's been really exciting to be able to have that engagement within this moment.
Oh, that's really cool. So what does gratefulness mean to you, Priya?
Gratefulness means to me being able to see the good even within our obstacles, right? We have things and adversity and things that we always have to navigate every single day. But within that same frame and lens, that good is still riding right next to it. And so being grateful is having that acknowledgement of the hope that exists within everything that we have to go through. And by acknowledging the good, that's how we acknowledge the hope that we are going to overcome and be resilient through that journey, right? So that's what gratitude is to me. It's like acknowledging the good, no matter what the context is, so we can use that as a vehicle to move forward and be resilient.
Mm-hmm. So it's hope, it's resilience, it's always recognizing it alongside even the negativity.
Yeah.
That is good. Yeah, I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I think, as humans, we have a negativity bias, right? We're always like going towards the bad. And it's important for us to understand that that is not all of it, right? There is always some positive light that continues to exist. Always, and it's not always bad. And it's our duty to develop a skill to always find that, right? And that's what we will use to carry to allow us to overcome. So yeah, I think that's really what it means to me, and it's something that even during this time, when there is so much uncertainty, running a nonprofit, running a startup, like the schools, everything. It's really helped me as well to stay very positive and hopeful, and that's why we're still here, right? So we have to do that for ourselves so that we are able to uplift others as well.
Mm-hmm. One thing you mentioned while you were just now speaking, it reminded me of what I introduced this conversation with. It's developing the skill. And it's not just meant for, Thanksgiving, for us to, be grateful just during Thanksgiving or just during the holidays. It's meant to be a practice.
Mhm.
So I think that's really, really cool that your nonprofit, The Simple Good, is just dedicated to the practice of focusing on what is good, what is positive. Uh, so my last question to you, Priya, is, well, what are you grateful for right now?
Mm, I'm grateful for so much. I'm so grateful that we're able to still do this work, and grateful for, the amount of vibrations we've been able to feel because of it, right? When you do our gratitude, have gratefulness, and you do show and acknowledge positivity that's around you, other people feel it, right? And that is something that you can witness and see the power of around you. And it really changes your environment, right? Your safety, your feeling of comfort, who you are in the place of the world. And I'm just so happy that I still have, these like positive notions that exist around me within a time where it's very hard for folks, right? And I'm grateful I am still in a healthy place that I can exude, this work and continue to promote that and bring that to other people. So yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for so much. So I could keep going on. Right now, yeah, just kind of the fact of being able to be is just something I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in addition to the gratefulness practice that I've been trying to be consistent with and maintain in a practice, is just being mindful. Taking a moment to say, how am I? What am I doing? How am I being in this particular situation? And it's a simple thing to just do a check-in. Just do a check-in and acknowledge those things and just be. And to your point, after you start reflecting, it especially on what you're grateful for, it just kind of starts overflowing. And you're like, man, I'm just really grateful. This is really great. And it continues and it continues and it continues. So yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely empathize with what you're talking about, especially right now. So with that, thank you so much, Priya. I really am happy to have just had you on the show, got to see you in person,
Yeah.
video for the first time. But I'm really excited about what you're doing, and good luck on the event next week.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I encourage all of you guys to follow our work. Our kids are powerful and inspiring and remind you of gratitude. So we always try to post their simple good stories. If you guys follow us on at the simple good or thesimplegood.org, you'll get that gratefulness all the time from them. So yeah, hope you guys can join us next week. And thank you for having me, Brittany.
Yes, thank you. All right, take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed our conversations today with Henriette and Priya. I'm seeing a few more comments here in the chat. Um, I'm seeing Erin saying that she's also grateful for the heartfelt mastermind. Oh yes. Yes. We were all part of a mastermind a couple years ago, and we all had incredible learnings through our business entrepreneurship group. Also, Brian, one of the ways he has begun to practice gratefulness is by starting all of his correspondence with a thank you. It makes you stop and think of the ways the person you are corresponding with brings you value. It gives you a chance to acknowledge that and say thank you. That's gold. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Brian, for that comment. So, one other thing that I'm excited about is what's upcoming in a couple of weeks. We will be doing another collaboration now conversation. And for those of you who pay attention to my LinkedIn stories, some time ago, I posted that I was super excited about one of the masterclass sessions. If you guys are watching masterclass, I was watching a session about negotiation, and there's a gentleman who from the Black Swan group that was talking on masterclass, and I was able to get in touch with one of the actually the top trainer at Black Swan. So we're going to be talking about negotiation and tactical empathy and a number of things with Derek Gaunt in a couple of weeks. That's December 11th at that will be at 11:30 Central Time. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you guys in a couple of weeks. And with that, please enjoy the rest of your Black Friday shopping today, and please enjoy your weekend. Thank you to all of you. Bye.